Welcome to the Sherry Andrea Psychic Empath Show with your host, Sherry Andrea. Sherry Andrea brings her listeners interesting discussions and topics related to empathy, psychic and spiritual development, as well as energy work. She is herself a psychic empath, healer, coach, author, and founder of SherryAndrea.com. Welcome, and here is your host, Sherry Andrea.
Hello, and welcome to the Sherry Andrea Psychic Empath Show. Thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate all of you who are listening. Tonight's topic of discussion is developing psychic abilities. Now, before we get started, I wanted to discuss something. There's been a change to the show schedules. Normally, we were doing Tuesday and Thursday, Tuesday at 9 p.m. and Thursday at 1:30. That's been changed. Now Thursday will be at 9 p.m. instead of 1:30. I won't get into the explanation of why, but I think that the time change will be good and will be better for all the listeners. This is our third show, and I think we are off to a good start. I will be taking callers, and the number to call in is 714-816-4750. 714-816-4750. Now, to be considerate of all who are calling in, I will be answering one question per caller so that there will be time to get to all the calls. While we're on the subject of questions, I want to discuss something that actually fits very well with tonight's topic of discussion, and that is asking for a reading. Everyone with psychic abilities is different. From the abilities we have to how quickly we connect, everything is different. There are times when we connect and we don't get anything. And for whatever reason, we just can't establish a good enough connection with the person we are giving a reading to. Now, the process of reading someone is not always a quick process. A connection must be established first. Then what comes next may happen fast and hard, or it may be like a faucet trickling a little bit of water at a time. As I'm mentioning this because many times after a question is asked and before I barely get a chance to connect to the person that I'm reading, the person I'm reading may say, well, are you getting anything? Anxiously, and I understand that. Because maybe after the question, I'll be silent for a few seconds. And when the answer to the question doesn't come fast, sometimes the person I'm reading for may get a little anxious. They may start rushing the process. If you're getting a reading, what you want to be careful of is that you don't try to rush the process. Every reader is different. Now, there are some people who are very fast readers. There are people who, they do this. This is their main thing that they do for a living. And so they've gotten very good at connecting quickly because they had to. Because, for example, if you're calling someone with psychic abilities and you're paying, let's say, $1 something a minute or more, maybe you're paying a $5 and something per minute. Well, you're going to want them to be able to connect to you and answer your question as quickly as possible because it's costing you. So now people that generally work like that and are in a network, and I'm sure you've seen them online, where they sign up for this network and you can go to this web page and you can see all the psychic readers, you can read a little bio about them, and then you can, through their website, you can call them. Now, generally, psychics who do readings on sites such as this, they're expected to connect very quickly and be able to get that information out there, almost like a Pez dispenser. Often, if people don't get, if the psychic reader is not able to connect quickly, maybe they're just not able to get anything, Many times the people will not pay, if they can't connect within a certain amount of time. So you have to understand there are people who are used to working this way. They're used to it. They're used to giving you a speedy answer. That is not the case with me. I do not do that for a living. What I do for a living is I am a spiritual and psychic development coach. In the process of doing my job, I use my abilities. I use all my psychic abilities. Sometimes I'm using my empathy. Sometimes I'm using just intuition. It depends on who the client is and what I'm doing for them, whether it's a personal client and this is a life coaching, or if it's a business client and it's related to business. So I wanted you to understand I am going to limit it to one question only, just so that it's fair to everyone. And because last week it was very good shows. However, I noticed that no one wanted to end their questions. Everyone had one more question. So to be fair to the callers who are holding, I'm only going to allow you to ask one question. Hopefully it will be related to the topic of the show. And then after I ask your one question, if you still feel like you want further information, you can always contact me, go to my website, SherryAndrea.com. Okay, let me repeat now the call-in number for you in case you're just joining us. The number is 714-816-4750. And now let's start the discussion about developing psychic abilities, since that's what we're here for. Since we only have 1 hour, I'm not going to go in depth, obviously, regarding everything. For example, I'm not going to explain in depth how to awaken your abilities. If you are interested in knowing more information about that, once again, you can go to my website. I have tons of information on my website that is related to that. Now, first, I want to explain that everyone is psychic. Many wonder if they are psychic or if they might have psychic abilities because they've had various experiences in their life. We call them unexplainable experiences, metaphysical experiences. Metaphysical because